How you doing?
Recording in progress.
Yes, I'll explain a little bit anyway why I've been why I've been chasing you up for months. So I wanted to do like a chat with a band that I used to like, just get their sort of like view on things and how things have changed and stuff like that.
Okay.
Are you on your solo stuff now? Are you just doing like your own thing, or are Holloway's still going?
Me and Bryn in the Holloways have just had a couple of calls because we're going in on Nevermind the Buzzcocks soon.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I was on it back in the day, but we're going on to do the lineup thing. Can you tell who were the original band members? So we're doing that, and we also just had a meeting with the PR company because we've got a few gigs coming up this year. We've got a tour in October. And we're talking about doing new material, but I'm also working on solo stuff, and I'm also working developing loads of upcoming bands and acts in the UK and in Austria and Germany and Switzerland. Um, so yeah, everything's still going on for me creatively, musically.
I've had the albums on again today. First album that this is Great Britain. Can you get that on vinyl by any chance as well? Can you get that on vinyl anywhere?
We are, because it's going to be 20 years next year, where we're talking about doing a vinyl run.
Oh, good, because I want that
Not
on
yet.
vinyl. I like the No Smoke No Mirrors as well. That was a decent album as well.
Yeah, I mean, everything that happened with the label, we'd lost momentum, and it didn't have the impact that it could have done. There are some really good songs in there. I think it was, yeah, the timing. By the time it got out, you know, I think at a different moment it would have hit better. But
I used to love
yeah,
is it Little
lots of
Johnny
good
Went to
songs.
Parliament?
Yeah,
I used to
mate.
love that song.
Yeah, mate. That's one of my favorites. I loved that one, and I loved "Knock Me Down," the last song on the album as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it was good listening today. 'Cause it was like a little bit of a trip down memory lane with like a bit of nostalgia. It was great.
Yeah, it takes you back, doesn't it, when you listen to something you've not heard in ages?
See, when
I've been
you
listening.
broke through, like the indie scene was quite it was quite big at that point, wasn't it? Like,
Healthy and vibrant it was, yeah. Not like
yeah.
now.
What do you remember like most fondly about that?
Oh mate, it was just such an exciting time, There was, we could go out any night in the week and there'd be an indie disco on, and before the indie disco you could pick, any kind of area of London, and I'm sure it's vibrant all around the UK. You could always go and watch good band. Obviously not every band was great, but there were plenty of interesting bands out there who never saw the light of day. There were some really interesting characters, and yeah, it was just always something to go out and do, and it wasn't. So the music, what's championed now, does not float my boat most of the
No.
time. Like this, sadly. But there are some great bands out there. Like Fontaines and bloody hell, what they called? I've completely forgotten their
What
name.
Wonder Horse?
Wonder Horse. Yeah,
Yeah, they're brilliant, aren't they?
yeah, mate, I love them. And I like Sports Team, and a band I've been writing with called Absolutely Anytime and Pleasuring. There's Gemma Rogers, who I write a lot with. There's good stuff out there, but it's fallen out of fashion in the media, hasn't it? And it's not like the thing that's been pushed as being the cool thing, and what has been pushed to be the cool thing is, yeah, leaves not a great taste in my mouth. But
Yeah, it's the indie scene's
yeah,
changed a
it's a
lot to what it
shame.
used to be like.
Yeah, and a lot of the venues have gone as well. It's tragic that the UK will protect like art galleries and whatever, but one of the greatest cultural beacons of Britain has been our music, especially since the sort of '60s.
Do you think it's
And
harder for bands now, like to break
yeah,
through and stuff?
yeah, totally. I think for a number of reasons. So some of the things I've already mentioned, but I also think a big thing is labels have shied away from investing in bands because it's more of a financial risk. It's a bigger cost involved to invest in a band than it is to just develop a solo artist who's easier to control for them. A band is more people. It's more to record a whole band and everything. So the label side as well has also been a reason that's the rug's been pulled somewhat from under the feet of bands. And it's a lot of bands traditionally came from more shall we say, a more diverse selection of society, and it's become the case that it's been more your you know kids who have come from sort of better backgrounds, because the financial side's just been gutted as well through things like streaming. It's much more difficult for money to be available for bands to develop, to be invested in and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot of factors.
Yeah,
It gets
streaming must have killed it a bit.
Streaming's a joke. Don't get me started, and especially Spotify and Daniel Ek, and he won't pay songwriters and stuff, but he'll invest in AI military robots millions or
Yeah, I
billions.
seen that. He put billions into it or something, didn't he? Or millions or
It's just a sick joke, it really is. And now there's this band called, what is it called, Velvet Morning or something.
is that the AI band?
Yeah, and they've got like 500,000 followers because they fixed the system and put them on loads of playlists and stuff. And they've got like massive songs just so Spotify can milk the system and not look after proper, develop and nurture new talent. It's so depressing, mate.
Yeah, I didn't realize you only get like 0.004p per stream or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, as for writers, it's even worse because they most of the money will go to the what they call the master side, which is the recording side, and you're only left with about 6% for the publishing share, and that will be divided by to the publishers, and then if there's two or three writers, you end up with like 1% of that 0.000 whatever.
It's
I mean,
dog
I've got
shit,
some
isn't
with
it?
100 million streams on Spotify, and I've earned hardly anything from it as a co-write I did. Yeah, they need to start paying more equally out on the publishing side, but the
You'd like
label
to
the
think
label
they'll start
rigged
because
it.
people are kicking off a bit more about it,
Yeah,
isn't it?
massively. People are kicking off more and more. Things will have to start changing, but it's going to be difficult. The labels are going to kick back massively because they rigged it when Spotify came around. They got into bed with the streaming services and made it so that it paid more on the master side. So on the master side, a label gets 80% and gives 20% to the artist, but on the publishing side, the writer gets more like 70-75% and the publisher takes 25%. So obviously they're going to rig it so it goes to the side where they're getting the 80% rather than 20%. So they're going to fight it, tooth and nail.
It's like social media as well. It's like a massive part of it now, ain't it? Do you think that's like sort of hurt music, or do you think it's for the better?
Yeah, massively, because there's a lot of talented musicians who are maybe a little bit awkward in terms of personality, and you've almost got more chance of doing great with your music career if you're able to do good posts and you can sing a little bit and look cool and be a good poster and get a good following than you are if you're a great singer and a great songwriter and you can a great live band and you can actually do the thing that music's about rather than being someone who's good at posting. It's not focusing on the musical side. It's focusing more on your ability to self market. So if it doesn't come natural to you as an artist, you have to find a way of making it work for you. Otherwise, you're missing half of well, the main window in which to make yourself visible.
See, when you listen back to like your older songs like Generator and Two Left Feet and stuff, do you think they still feel a bit current?
I think we were just talking with this press company now and saying so this is Great Britain is very relevant right now with
Yeah, I thought that.
very much is a sinking ship that's full of shit. So it's interesting. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Music sometimes feels timeless and sometimes it feels old and nostalgic. And it's really hard for me to judge how our music sounds. And I very rarely listen to it. It's like, I don't know. We recorded the album and listened to it and see how it sounds and how it felt and stuff. But, I never sat there listening to my own songs or our
Do you
own songs
not?
of the band for pleasure.
What sort of keeps you excited, like to still play live and stuff? Because you've been doing it a long time now, haven't you? I always wonder if you ever get like fed up of it and you just sort of do it because it's a way of making a living, or do you still get the buzz?
Well, with the Holloways, we had a lot of years out until last year. So when we did the gigs last year, I was absolutely buzzing my tits off. I forgot how much I enjoyed it. I forgot how much I enjoyed those songs. I forgot how much I enjoyed having a laugh with Dave and Bryn and Tristan, who came in on the guitar in Rob's absence. But Tristan was always part of the band in a way. He was our producer and was always with us. And it was just great being with the lads again. And it just like it felt like 2 weeks ago rather than bloody 15 years or whatever. It's really weird, really weird. It's like honestly, it felt like a couple of months back we'd been in the tour band together. But yeah, mate, I never got tired of playing live, even when we were doing it all the time. I mean, you know, sometimes you were knackered and you wanted to sleep in your own bed. But in terms of being on stage and seeing that you're making people happy, you can't. There's no better feeling than that, really. I mean, even when I live in Austria now and I do acoustic gigs here, I did an acoustic gig last night with a couple of girls I know, and we do a bunch of covers and we do a few originals as well. And you know, if I see someone having a good time listening to music that we're making, then it's just even if it's a few people, it's rewarding.
Yeah, that's quality, man. I love that. Is there anything you miss about like do you know when you that the mid 2000s sort of indie boom?
All of it, man. I mean, it was just a great time. It was good music. It was good people. I felt like there was an optimism in the air, and yeah, it all felt positive and energetic and friendly, and you know there was just a lot of good stuff, exciting things happening. It felt like the sky was the limit for the band as well. And like I say, for me now, the way music's gone, the way the live scene has been depleted, and the way streaming treats people, nothing has improved in my eyes. It's all. I mean, I sound like a moaning old cunt, I guess, but I feel like objectively it was a healthier music scene, and it was promoting more of a happy, positive vibe.
Do you think there's like a way back for it? Do you think it could get its way back to the way it was, or do you think it's just going to get worse?
I think things are kind of cyclical. I think we've started to see um, a little bit of a resurgence in it and demand for bands again, and even bands that are coming back and doing like a nostalgia trip or whatever. You see really young people in the crowd who know the words, and I think there are young people, young kids out there who are into that music, but the media's not been pushing it, and I think they have a big fact sway, and the labels have a big sway in terms of what you push on teenagers is what they'll enjoy. They're like sponges. So there's always a chance, and I think people will always get bored of one thing, and when someone starts to do something else again, I mean, pop's starting to get a lot more interesting. Pop music, we're starting to see more interesting chord changes again, and interesting themes and characters. For a while, it all became very repetitive and simple. So yeah, mate, I'm an eternal optimist, and I think it will come back again.
Anyone like current now that you'd want to share the stage with?
Yeah, I mean, quite a few of the bands I work with, like Skinny Living, they're a great band. Gemma Rogers, really like Sports Team. I think they're good fun. Yeah, I really like the Wet Leg stuff.
Yeah, Wet Leg Race.
Yeah, man, bands like that, and like I said, that mentioned absolutely anytime. They're good fun.
What's next for you then? Are you gonna do a little tour in that the Holloways?
Yeah, we got the tour coming up, and we are talking about some new material.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of songs that are, very very Hollowaysy. The songs I write are generally are Hollowaysy. I mean, I write in multiple genres with different artists, but the songs I just sort of write on my own more often than not feel like the Holloways. So yeah, that's something that might happen and would be very exciting.
Did you ever do that Shine weekend though? Have you seen that? They have it. They have it at Minehead. It's all like also the indie bands and stuff from that era and things always play it.
What's that called?
The Shine Weekender. It's like, do you know Butlin's things they do? My missus' cousin goes every year, and it's always like Happy Mondays and all that, and then they'll have like sort of the
Nice.
pigeon detectives and stuff. Like it's always a good little. It looks like a little gig. I always mean to go, but I never do.
Yeah, man, that sounds great. Yeah, I think it does ring a bell actually. Yeah, we used to play at Butlin's Skegness, the big weekender, which was
Oh, did you?
always quite interesting. Yeah.
The messy weekends they are.
The rider was far too generous. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, that's sad. But that's it really. Like,
Oh, good man.
I appreciate you doing it.